That was a definite brain fart that I just had there. I had 2 streams scheduled. I've obviously got this one for our Trip of Magic read along. And I have another one, which is Spookopolis Public Sprints tomorrow morning, and I went live on the wrong one like a complete donut. So I had to fix that really quickly. Which was not my fun place. It's done now. I've organized myself, but that could have gone more smoothly. Let's be perfectly honest. Hello, how are all of you? We are finally here to talk about this book. Honestly, I feel like it's been such a long time since I finished it. The mic wasn't even facing me, so sorry if it sounded like I was in the bottom of a tin can there. Everything is happening at the start of this stream, absolutely everything, but it's going to be fine. I love this energy. Didn't even read the book, just here to listen to everybody else chat about / complain about the book. I made my notes digitally for this one as well, so hold on, let me just get my notes open. Let me just log in. Okay, there we go. Can I make these split screen so that I can read them while I talk to you? Yes, look at me being technologically competent for the first time in my life. Hello. I am feeling better. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for asking. Hello. Nearly time to do bedtime, so I'll be in and out. And we're talking about your absolute favorite book, Sarah. That's disgusting. Terrible. Me cooking. Can't wait to see what everyone thinks about this one. Me too. I am very, very excited. I am, honestly, this is the book that I feel like either makes most people continue on with the series or makes them pause for a long time and struggle to come back to it. So I really want to know what everybody thinks. Yes, exactly. I want everybody. Hi, lovely. I want everybody's thoughts on this one. I am here. I finally am. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to pretend we didn't see this book? No. It's really bad as well because Becca's actually currently live with the tail end of her Spookopolis sprints, and I'm just like, this is fine. This is fine. Probably some people who get notifications from my channel and are like, Leanne's going live. Did you know? Yeah. I'm waiting for the text that's like, what are you doing? Why are you screwing up our perfectly organized regime? It is really cozy. It's definitely autumn here now. All of the leaves have changed, which is wonderful. Everything's falling, everything's crispy, but it's also cold. My head's still pretending that it's summer because I've still got a t-shirt on underneath this, but not for much longer. The jumpers have been all looked out of the autumn and winter wardrobe set, and they're all being washed. So yeah, big chunky cozy cardigans for the win. You can just say your thoughts to represent both of us. Yes. Oh my god. Oh, loved it. Favorite so far. That's amazing. Hello. Okay, so how about then? What we do to start with is everybody just out of 5, give me your rating for this book. Just out of 5. And I know that that's that's quite a lot of pressure, right? That's quite a lot of arbitrary pressure. Give me a monetary value for this book. But give me out of 5 what you would give this book, and then we'll see how those ratings compare to everything else. Okay, so Sarah and I are close. My rating for this would just be a straight 3. So, obviously, it's a no spoiler zone. I know you guys are veterans at this now. We've done this several times now, but yeah, still a no spoiler zone just for the moment, just to let people come in and join, especially because I had a tiny little mock up there with which sprints went live. So a 3.5, a 3 for me. 5s. Oh, lots of 5s. 4.25. I'll be interested to find out what knocked like the 7.75 is that mass off for you, Sienna. A 5. Oh, lots of 5s and 4s. This is interesting. Oh, my second time trying. First one was a DNF. Did you manage to finish it this time? Was this like a successful second time or no? A 3. Okay, yep. Feel like I hear people who were annoyed by fits a bit like Liveship Traders trilogy a lot more. Okay. And people who love the first trilogy tend to struggle a bit with Liveship Traders. Yes. My internet is being a little bit crappy, my loves, because there is a storm coming in. So if I'm a little bit crackly, I'm really sorry. I'm running the least amount of things possible right now. So apologies if apologies if I'm a bit crackly. Let me just close down Discord. Yeah, let me just close down Discord in the background so that that's not another thing that's taking internet. Sorry. So yeah, people who love the first trilogy tend to struggle a bit with Liveship Traders. That is one of my experiences with this trilogy. My other experience with this trilogy is that people who enjoyed like the first person perspective of fits were quite like thrown out by the multi perspective that we get in Ship of Magic. So that's my other big experience with this series when people read it for the first time. 3.75. Yep. The soft NF. Ooh, but 70 pages in. Picked up again at the end of August. Read it 4 days and gave it 4 stars. Georgia, that's a solid turnaround, by the way. There is a cat in there in case you see any weird background movements and are like, is Leanne's house possessed? I mean, yes, ghosts, yes, but also cat. 3.75. Okay, 4. Oh, Eleanor being the controversy as usual. Between a 3 and a 5, depending on the day. The ending is good. I will say the ending in this one does redeem a lot for me, but it's still a solid 3. 4.5, a 4, another 4.5. Very interesting. I inhaled it. It made a difference that I had read the previous 3 books. Yes. I feel as if, so this is the other thing, I guess, is a lot of people that I hear really, really, really love the Liveship books never actually go on to read anything else in Realm of the Elderlings because they start with the Liveship books, which is, I understand that there are some series in the world that you can jump into at any point, and I suppose technically because of the amount of people who do accidentally or on purpose, I don't know, start with Ship of Magic, I suppose technically you can start with it, but you lose so much in the context of it that it's like, I feel like Ship of Magic, and obviously you guys, I think most of you guys have only read this one. I know some people, Sarah, have read on, but I feel like more than any other trilogy in the entire series, Ship of Magic is its own contained thing. It's its own contained, complete, closed plot. And because of that, I could understand reading this as a standalone trilogy and never reading anything else. But if you plan on reading everything else, I don't understand starting not on the first book. It's never been a thing that's computed for me. Hey, hi Chloe, welcome in. Ship of Magic is a 3.5. Okay. It would have been a 5 if I wasn't reserving that score for further. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting, Beth. Like, you've left yourself somewhere to go just based on the fact that you might like the other books better. That is very interesting. Like the first trilogy, they do get better with each book. I will say, out of the entire like Liveship Traders trilogy, Mad Ship is my favorite book. And in fact, Mad Ship is actually, I don't think I've said this to you guys very often, but Mad Ship's one of my favorite books in the whole of the Realm of the Elderlings. And it's one of those things where it's like, because I hate Ship of Magic so much, because if you guys didn't know, if I didn't make it clear in any of the previous live shows that we've done, or you're just joining this one for the first time, I hate Ship of Magic. And I feel like because I say that, people assume that I hate the whole trilogy, but I don't. I really only just I wish I could nothing this book, but I don't. I actively dislike it. Took me quite a bit to get in this one. I tore through it after a month-ish struggling. Okay, but I really liked it at the end. Yeah, the end of this one is definitely like, as someone who loved the first trilogy, the first 100 to 200 pages were so hard to get through, but after that I turned around. I think, Elias, this is probably because, for me anyway, the thing that happens sort of like mid this book is you become invested in the characters finally, and I think that's one of the things that bothers me the most about this book, actually, is that for me, I feel like there is no investment for me in the characters until that halfway point. Until that halfway point, I really like could care less if some of them like fell off the side of the boat, you know, like. Also, I know that it's massive sacrilege to call a ship a boat, but I honestly do feel like that. For some of them, I'm just like, I wouldn't mind if you fell overboard. Like, it wouldn't trouble me terribly much. And then there is a point where your brain goes, oh, yeah, actually, I do care about you. Although I don't necessarily think I care about the people that I'm supposed to in this book either. I agree, this one was more difficult. Yep. Preferred it the second time around. I think I was too attached to Fitz first time around. Yeah, that's definitely fair, Eleanor. Kind of expecting most of Hobbs' books to be a 5-star for me. To be fair, most of Hobbs' books are a 5-star for me as well, and I think that is like a combination of the writing, the way that she pulls in 42 different plot lines and ties them all up at the end, the way that she writes characters, the way that she writes setting, you know, like all of these things. I think they're just all of the things that she does in a way that I enjoy, and I think that's why. Sarah's going to get dragged because Sarah, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who are not patrons, we have a chat on our Patreon Discord for this book, for the series, and Sarah is consistently like, just one more book. I'll wait this time. I'll wait for you guys this time, and then she's like, just one more book. So Sarah's now, I think, finished Tawny Man. Have you finished the next trilogy? Have you? I can't remember what I read. It was a while ago. Yep, that I read it, but I think maybe I didn't enjoy it as much as the Fitz books. Yeah, that's fair. Started with this book and liked it so much that I went looking for more. I really like that. That is a very nice turnaround, Stephanie. And I like that not only did you go looking for more, but you're just like here. you're like joining us on the journey again. Yes, Matchup's still my favorite of the series so far. Out of the 3 trilogies I've read, so you have, you absolute troll. You have finished them. I'm gonna have to be wary of what I say as a trilogy sort of blended together in my head. Yeah, I'm not going to have the no spoilers up for very long with this book, because I feel like most of the things that I want to that I think would be pertinent to discuss about this book are going to sort of like lean into the spoiler territory. So I will take this down pretty soon, but I do have a couple of questions for you guys first. I marked Assassin's Apprentice as a 5 initially. It's by far my least favorite Hobb book. Oh, interesting, Beth. It's your least favorite. You regret from the start. This is really interesting. We do seem to have like a straight down the middle mix of people who like really, really loved it, and other people who are just like, meh, it was fine. When I restarted, switched to audio for some of it, and oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions. For those of you who read this on audio, how do you feel about the narrator for this series versus the narrator for Assassin's Apprentice? Because this is another big controversy with this book, and that lots and lots of people pick this book. Georgie, you're very much in a minority here, I think, my love, because lots and lots of people pick this book up. And for me, the way that I've described it, and that the Harry described it this way as well when he picked it up, was the narrator for this trilogy is so like magic. And then a thing happened and he saw it on the hill. Like, it's that kind of narration where it's just like, why? Why? Why did you read it like that? Why did you read it? It's so difficult for me because I feel like the narrator for this one, I don't know as well. Like I might be talking out of my bum here. Let's actually have a look. But I feel like the narrator for this one has probably not narrated many fantasy books. I am going to look this up, and because if that's not the case, then I have questions, man. I have a lot of questions. Okay, yeah. So the narrator for this one, at least in the UK, is Anne Flosnick, and the other books that they have narrated apart from this trilogy are Homer, A Very Short Introduction, The Horde, How the Mongols Changed the World, Scourge of Henry V, The Life of, I can't read that, it's too tiny. And then, oh, interestingly enough, a lot of straight up historical smut by the looks of it. But definitely nothing else that would come under the banner of fantasy book. So yeah, I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions about the narrator for this one. I struggled. Yes. Gave it 4 stars, but the first 200 pages are rough. They really, really are, Jenny. And I think it genuinely is. It is literally a block that's like 200 pages long where I'm just like, prefer the narrator for Fitz. Yeah, it's the worst audiobooks I've ever listened to. But I got used to it and just did immersive reading. Yeah, I think that's it. I think if you're going to listen to this, the best way is to do immersive reading and to sit with the actual text on the page at the same time. But I didn't find an issue with the audiobooks, but maybe you're just easy to please, Eleanor. That's not the same as low standards. That's the first positive comment I've ever seen about the audio for these. Genuinely, yes, right? Only have 2 books left to read. Oh, and the entire series. Loved the first book of the last trilogy. Okay, definitely no chatting about any of the contents of the books past this one, please. But I am loving the fact that you have like read that much. Did you start with the read along or did you just start in general? Have you just done Asara and just like bossed through? I hated the narrator for this one. Yes, read along with the narration so I could stay focused. Yeah, she was less annoying when I sped it up. I don't know if I could have sped her up. I don't know if I could have done that. Like, whoa, it's so bad. Gave it 4.5. Only didn't give it 5 because I cared about some points of view more than others. Definitely that. Go was okay. However, I did not like her. Found her jarring. Yes, I tried to eyeball read. That's a great way to put it. I tried to eyeball read. It didn't like her. It was I like that. This is that was a very that was very like even of you. The style was different. Can tell that you like have younger people in your life. Like it was different. Like it was a choice. I remember thinking she was awful at narrating male characters, but also didn't listen to any of the Fitz trilogy, so I have nothing to compare it to. That's interesting. That's very interesting because the Fitz narrate them. Oh, is his name Paul? Is that his name? Yeah, Paul Bomer. I love. In fact, what does Paul Bomer look like, guys? Oh, did not expect. Paul Bomer is that actor. Hold on, I'm going to show you this. Did not expect at all. This is Paul Bomer. Do we recognize this guy from Star Trek? Like, I just did not expect. Not what I expected. Not what I expected Paul Bomer to look like. Okay, that was an interesting little like side quest that we went on there. Anyway, Paul Bomer's voice, perfect, wonderful, great. Where did I get to? Oh, sorry, hold on one sec. Non-fiction sent me to speed her up, and then it was okay. Yeah, she does. She reads Regency smut. Like body strippers, Regency smut. Oh, that's interesting. So you listened to both? That's interesting. You listened to both, but one was okay. it's the same narrator in the US. Okay, it was on Audible Plus, so at least I didn't have to pay for it. Oh my god. It's the middle for me. I thought, oh my god, Althea and Winter. Okay, so that's going to be my next question then. No clue it was the same. Yeah, that's it. I wonder how much her style changes. Does somebody want to be the volunteer of tribute to go listen to some of the Regency smut that she narrates so that you can come back and tell us whether she's good at it? I sure would have made it if I didn't do the audio. Okay, the ending was fine, but the first half was a ride on the struggle bus. So very much so for me also. It's taken me about 2 years to read the 14 books. Okay, that's really cool though. I like that you're here joining us for the live shows despite that. Right, that's going to be my next question then. And after this question, I think, okay, I have two questions, and then we will take the spoiler warning off and we will just chat. My next question then, without spoilers, who's your favorite character? We'll get into least favorite characters when we can bitch about them more thoroughly with the spoiler warning off. But who is your favorite character? For me, I am firmly torn between Paragon and Brashen. But because I hate Ship of Magic so much, when I reread it for the read along, I was like, oh, there isn't actually as much Paragon in this book as I remember there being. So some of the reasons that I love Paragon is definitely in Madship. Like, some of the reasons that I love him so much exist in that book. So it has kind of bled for me. So I think based on that, if I had to pick for this book, it would probably be Brashen. That man has a jaw for sci-fi makeup. Yes. Work with people who are half my... Yeah, you can tell. You can tell. Paragon. Yeah. This is, I mean... Sarah and I have very wildly different feelings about some books and very wildly different feelings about some characters, but for some reason we have completely aligned when it comes to Ship of Magic. This is basically it for me, right? Paragon, oh baby, sweet cinnamon roll must be protected at all costs. Brashen though. Can we talk about Brashen? Yes, sweet baby angel. Oops. So I jumped massively there, sorry. Brashen, Kennit and Oh, interesting, Beth. I didn't expect anybody to have Kennit as a favourite character there. Bex Wintro? Okay. Love Paragon, but Kennit was great. This is going to... when we take the spoiler warning off, this is going to be interesting, my friends. Vivacia. Unfortunately, now that I've watched RuPaul's Drag Race, whenever I read the word Vivacia, I think of Vivacia the drag queen, and their very, very, very terrible introduction to the season that they were on, and I haven't been able to erase it from my brain. But yes, Vivacia, Paragon, and Brashen. If I had to pick one, just Paragon. Yes. Like Brashen in this book, he's flawed, but also somehow noble. He's very flawed, but I love that about him. Kennit, not as a person, but I was at just... That's a very good response. Like, I mean, he's very red flaggy, but I loved reading about him. Brashen, if he could push a certain young... That's how I feel about that comment. It's hard to say, just limiting myself to Ship of Magic. Yeah, I'd probably say Paragon, but Kennit's also super intriguing in this one. Yeah, there's definitely some things about Kennit in this book where I'm like... I think, but also, obviously, because I know where some of these characters end up, I try to think back about the first time that I read this book, and I don't think Kennit particularly interested me, to be perfectly honest. I actually have out of the characters in this book who are in this kind of bracket of like extremely morally grey, arguably actually just a bit of an asshole, and who are presented to you with like very much like that for you to make your opinions of. Weirdly, I actually preferred Kyle to Kenneth. I know, okay? I am aware of how problematic that is. I'm aware that, like, Kyle is a rotten to the core person. But at the same time, out of the 2 points of view, I was more interested in hearing about Kyle than I was Kenneth. Brashen and Paragon, yep. Gravitate towards Wintrow. This is interesting. I have so many questions for you guys. Brashen, favourite character, Paragon, favourite point of view. I like that. That's a really good way to put it. But Kenneth is the most intriguing. Brashen and Wintrow. Maybe Althea, okay. But I really like Brashen a lot. Feelings about characters changed a good bit through the trilogy. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a theme with Robin Hobb's writing, right? It's like you're presented a character and then like the rug gets pulled out from under your feet and suddenly that you discover actually this person is not anything like you thought they were, or worse, they are that, but they're also other things that are really detestable. And like I think that shows in this trilogy more than in any of her other trilogies. You definitely get like a whole host of sudden like gasp moments in this trilogy. Paragon makes my heart hurt. Yes, clearly has PTSD. Yeah, like how do you hug Paragon? The good thing, I guess, about live ships is he can feel you wherever he is. I don't know how I feel about that sentence now that I've said it. Hob is like, you're gonna fancy men with names beginning B. I'm not gonna lie, Birch and Brashen in my head canon. I'm just saying. I also love Wintrow, okay? Ken, it's so interesting. My feelings are a roller coaster ride. Yes. That morally black guy you love to love. Yeah. I mean, Kenneth's like super problematic from the first page, right? Kenneth's one of my favorite characters of all time. That makes me a psychopath. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I've ruined Vivacia for everybody by connecting it to Drag Race. Vivacia isn't. Yeah. Me and Sarah agree on this one. I'm going to get to the end of your comments and I'm going to take the spoilers off so that we can talk about our least favorite characters. Wintrow just reminds me of the T-Monk in the Becky Chambers book for no good reason. I mean, I guess they're both like religious figures in training, right? I'm torn between which characters I liked as a person, and which I like because they brought the drama. So it's either Vivacia or Kenneth. Yes, I love Vivacia, but I love Paragon more, and more as the trilogy went on. Yeah, he's lately my favorite character. Yes. I struggle to find likable characters in this. Kathy, you ain't alone. That is not an only you thing. Wintrow. Oh, I did wonder if somebody was going to bring up Amber. Yep. Yeah, likable characters are a hard one in this one. Can I forget Amber? Yes, definitely. So sorry if you can hear Nimbus in the background. He's protesting about something. Kind of like Kenneth's charm. Oh my god, I love Kenneth's charm. The sarcasm is unsurpassed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for who I am as a person. Wintrow and Ship. I like I love Malta. I love Malta. I mean, awful in so many ways, but the Blair Waldorf of her time, right? If anybody gets that Gossip Girls reference, I'll love you forever. Wintrow and Paragon, yep, kept waiting for Hob to reveal that Kyle was possessed by something. You know, Kyle's just an asshole. I don't mind Wintrow, I felt bad for him, so I couldn't hate him. Okay, right. I'm now going to take the spoiler warnings off. So I'm giving anybody a chance. Anybody who hasn't finished the book, anybody who doesn't want to chat spoilers, any of those things, now is the time. I'm going to take this off. I'm just giving you a minute to go. Sounds so bad. I'm giving you a minute to leave. Time is ticking. Okay, so on to the spoiler portion of our events. I would like to know your least favorite character. Your least favorite character. So for me, hands down, without a single shadow of a doubt, it is Althea. without a single shadow of a doubt, I feel like Althea, and this is like, it's interesting because lots of people have different opinions on Althea. I understand that she is in a difficult set of circumstances and that life has not been fair. Okay? Like, I understand that life has dealt her a very bum lot. However, in the trilogy so far, previous to this, we have also met other characters who have been dealt a bum lot. We have met many of them, in fact, including, if you think about it, all of the princes, realistically. So, like, literally, Chivalry, even Regal was dealt a bad lot. Fitz was dealt a terrible lot. Birch was dealt a terrible lot. The Fool, in a lot of ways, has been dealt a terrible lot. But I feel like the character with the least amount of practical agency in this book is Althea. She makes so many stupid decisions, and while I know, and was in fact once once told by an author after I negatively reviewed a book, and this just shows you that authors should not be trolling reviews, that if there's no mistakes, if a character doesn't make any mistakes and there's no plot, there's a difference between mistakes and everything that Althea does. And all of the choices that she makes just make me want to push her into the harbour. The amount of moaning that this girl does versus the amount of active agency that she takes over her life drives me mad. And then there's Malta in sharp contrast, who's just like, world's gonna owe me by the end of this. Like, I am doing the thing. And you don't have to like Malta, but if you hold up like Malta and Althea together, it's just like, and my second least favourite is Winthrop. Because I was so tired. I was so tired of listening to him. By mid-book, I'm just like, what is the purpose of you? And the entire slave auction portion with Winthrop, I was just like, just kill him off, please. So I understand that at least one of those is going to be a controversial opinion to some people. Again, Sarah and I completely agree with Althea on this one. Kyle, I mean, yeah, he's low-hanging fruit in this one, right? We're getting the tea out, biting my tongue because of future book knowledge. Well done. I appreciate this a lot. I returned from listening to the Regency SWAT samples. Go to Madship sample. The smut audio is worse, but she sounds weirdly Aya. How does she overpronounce every word? Yes. It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like you've given somebody a book to read in English who has English as a second language and who is trying to make sure that they are clear and they enunciate, but that's not the case. I love Althea. Oh no, there's definitely going to be people in here who are mad at these opinions, right? Kyle, Malta was a nightmare for me. Probably hated her more than anyone else. Ignorance not an excuse for bullying. Yeah. I mean, she definitely is. Like, it's past the point of being headstrong or ignorant. She's actively vile sometimes, and she is actively selfish, but in a very knowledgeable way, because you could look at Malta's position and be like, well, she's been a bit sheltered. Obviously, she's going to be selfish and self-centered and not really care about everybody else. Like, you can understand that because that's the way that she's been brought up. But realistically, Malta doesn't only have that view of the world. She has an active view of lots of different places and different like social stratas and stuff in her world, and she makes the choices that she makes in spite of the knowledge that she has. So like, Malta is an absolute little bleep sometimes. But I still love her. Hated Althea so much. Kyle, because he was so toxic. He is horrendously toxic, and yet somehow I loved reading about him. Made my thoughts clear on my least favourite and will not say his name again. Oh no. Kyle and Malta, infuriating in this one. Okay, interesting. Kyle and Romica. Oh, Stephanie, why Romica specifically? I'd like to say Kyle, but Malta made me so bad. I just hate stupid people. That's what I feel about Althea. Can I only pick one? I knew this bit in the chat was going to make me happy. Winter and Althea have both had what they saw as their destinies removed from them. Yes. So seeing them deal with it is interesting, but God, she did. And also, not just because I love Brashen as a character, but even if I didn't love Brashen as a character, just if it was just a random person, Althea treats Brashen so badly, so many times, and looks down on him in so many different ways. And I'm just like, girl, I'm so fascinated by fantasy main character names, Kyle. I know there are some. I feel like this with Robin Hobb and George R.R. Martin, where I'm just like, but why those names? Why those names? We had I don't know, we had like Tyrion and Cersei, and then we had Jamie, spelled oddly, but Jamie. Obviously Kyle was a detestable person, yeah, but Althea annoyed me more. Oops. I was dealt a bumlop being introduced to Althea. Don't like Vivacia. Oh, yeah, I also hate Vivacia. I'm going to be perfectly honest. Like, oh my goodness. Don't know how old Althea is supposed to be, but she's bringing whiny teenager. Kyle was my least favorite. Yep. Althea had parents. What was her problem? Yes. Really, I felt like she was meant to be the new Fitz, and it didn't work. Yeah, this is another thing for me. I felt like Wintro is quite close to Fitz in a few different ways for me, and there are times where I could see his thought processes working in the same way that Fitz's worked, and yet she never got me over the line with him in terms of actually caring about him. Like, never. Kyle, he has the classic abusive persona. Yep. Straight horrible, but not as interesting as Kenneth, so he's worse. Kyle is awful. I think that's actually why I liked reading his point of view, because he is just straight detestable, horrible, selfish in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, very what's the word that I'm looking for? No, it's gone from my mind. It'll come back to me. But like, he's very stereotypical in a lot of ways, but I think that's actually why I enjoyed it, because Robin Hobb doesn't write many characters who are that stereotypically awful, and she still made me interested somehow. She makes bad life choices, yeah, but I feel like she does try. She definitely does. She definitely has more agency than Wintro, but she still lacks a lot of agency, and it still really annoys me. I hate Kyle. Yep. Careful, because I can't remember where the book ended. Yeah, that's fair. And I'm not saying I loved it, but Althea didn't irritate me as much as she did other people, but I get it. Yeah. Wintro bored me, but I didn't hate him. Yep. Didn't hate Althea either. She was super annoying, but it sort of made sense for her. Yeah, I quite enjoyed her brand of whinginess. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like obviously she has to have character progression. Do you know what I mean? Like, she has to go from one place to another, and so she has to be slightly flawed in order to be any better later, but it was just too much for me. It was just too much. And like, she comes across as a stubborn, entitled brat. Yeah. She gives off mean girl vibes. She's acting dumb, but she knows. She's acting dumb, but she knows. Oh my God, I love that. Yes. I was frustrated with Vivacia. Yeah, I feel like with Vivacia, frustrated is definitely how I feel. I feel like out of everybody, Vivacia had the least ability to influence her position. So she really doesn't have a lot of agency over her life, as opposed to Wintro and Althea, who could make big decisions if they wanted to. So Vivacia is in a position where she actually is allowed to be a lot more, to me anyway, she's allowed to be a lot more whingy than other characters. However, there was a point where I was like, okay, now you just milking it, girl. Like, now you just going a bit far. And I feel like Robin Hobb did an interesting thing with her, where she took this, like, she's both completely ancient, because of course she has all the memories and the thoughts of everybody who's ever, been on our decks. But she's also still a child, and she's still childlike, but she has a childlike sexuality, and that, like, she is a fully grown woman who is a full person, but she has the innocence of a child. And so I think she did a really good meld of showing what would happen if you put all of these things into a melting pot and then you took away her comfort, her ability to be happy, and the people around her who kept her like safe. But I do feel like there's a level of suggesting that she has gone mad towards the end of the book that I was like not uncomfortable with, because they're suggesting that obviously she's having a breakdown by the end of it. So not that, but I was sort of like weirdly uncomfortable with just like, I can't quite put my finger on it. She's openly very sort of mentally disturbed in a way that made me uncomfortable, because I feel like nobody was helping her. You can see where it's going. And yeah, I'm trying to think of, there is a thing I want to say, but I now can't remember whether it happens at this book or the next book. So now I can't say it to like finish off that point. I can't put a full stop on that thought, because I don't remember where it comes in the book. Wasn't attached to character, but I like the character acts for Kefria and Ronica. Yeah, I actually really like Ronica. Sorry, guys. Wasn't annoyed by Althea either, but I really don't get what people love about Malta. Torg, I forgot about Torg. That's a very good point. Hate Althea, but she frustrated me. So did Winthrop, but he was young and tried to do what he thought was right, so I could forgive him. I also think that there is the sort of religion thing to take into consideration with Winthrop, and it's why I don't hate him as much as Althea. I don't enjoy him, but I feel as if again, he is trying to personify what he sees as very textbook good. It's almost like that thing where it's like, I have read the text, I am doing the behaviors, these are the things that I'm supposed to do, but he hasn't kind of linked the behaviors and what he's supposed to do to any real life situations, because he's not really been in any real life situations. So he can't look at the idea of like, you know, being kind and being accepting and whatever, and then realize that it has to be that kind of morality has to be grey somewhere. Like religion is grey in places. So I feel like he hasn't linked those thoughts up yet in this book, and that annoys me. Kyle's the reason I docked 0.5 stars. Oh, that's really interesting, Beth. Wow. I did think Althea started to come to terms with her privilege, but still has a way to go. Yes, Malta has a way to go as well. Great vibration with a toddler, really. But she's so much more than a toddler, because there's so much more in her, right? There's so much more like in her actual physical makeup. I can believe Malta in this, but I do like manipulative, clever, buckling societal expectations, yet forging my own path characters. Totally. Once Malta's older and more mature, I could see liking her more. Yes, definitely. Getting her come up as the story arc I'm waiting for. That's really interesting. I feel like she's not been a great mum in this one. It'll change later. She seems to not like to listen to Althea at all, and actively ignoring Kyle's behaviour. Yeah, the choosing to ignore Kyle's behaviour because it is more comfortable for her is actually one of the big reasons why I think she's like super problematic as a character. But I've never heard anybody like outright hate her before, so that's interesting. I think Kev came straight from Hobbs' personal experience. Yes, I would imagine so. I feel like I've read something about that, Beth, at some point. He has no redeeming qualities. Yeah, yes, definitely. Definitely a character we have met. Oh, so much so for all of us. We've all had a shadow of Kyle in our lives at some point. Get the Kent's a fascinating character for sure, but I have trouble getting past his attitude to Etta. I'm not a big Kenneth fan. And I think that's another reason why I struggle with this one, because obviously Kenneth's arc in so many places was meant to go sort of a certain way. Kenneth Vivina scene was hilarious. Yes, it was. But it also kind of made me uncomfortable. Hate Kelly came across the misogynist. Yep. Kenneth was villainous but more complex, and I found it more interesting being in his head. Yeah, it's interesting because for me, even in this book, I don't see too much of a difference between Kyle and Kenneth in terms of how they actually feel inside. So yes, in their outward behaviour and what they make other people feel about them, but not actively how they actually feel, like how they feel in their hearts. I think is quite similar. And so it's always interesting to me when I hear people being like, oh, but Kenneth, because of these reasons, and I'm like, yeah, okay, these reasons, but he's quite a lot like Kyle. It's just that he's better at manipulating people. I wiped Torg from memory. Yeah. Well, Torg has been wiped from a lot more than memory now, Beth. What about the wooden Kenneth? Yep, that Kenneth I liked. It seems every time the real Kenneth tried to be evil, the wooden one got in his way. I feel definitely like I feel like the Wizardwood charm has its own conscience. It has its own. I don't think it's. I mean, it's obviously in his likeness, but I don't necessarily think that it's. I think it has its own sort of agendas. Again, trying to be very careful. I love how Kenneth's charm heckled them and also said sweet things to Etta. Yes. So a huge distinction between antagonists and badly written characters. Yes, because I love Kenneth, but yes, I love Kenneth, but gross. Thought Kenneth was going to be the ultimate villain. I started to have doubts about his character. Ooh, well, like Kyle and Kenneth. Yeah, this is exactly what I feel. So that is why it always surprises me when people say like, "Oh, I love Kenneth, but I absolutely hate Kyle," because I'm like, well, right. So my next question for you guys then is most surprising plot twist, because there actually are quite a few pretty big, like stonking plot twists in this book. In a way, I kind of feel like, although some of them are a bit more subtle than others, there are more plot twists in this book, in this one single book, I think, than in any of the other like the first 3 books in any of the first trilogy. I feel like this one definitely has. I'm just going to go back to my notes because I made a note of a few of them. So obviously, right, so the first one that popped up for me in terms of plot twists that kind of always makes me go is clearly we knew that Althea and Brashen were going to bump into each other again at some point, right? So like we knew that they were gonna both working ships and looking for their ticket, that they were both gonna end up more than likely on the same ship together. But Brashen's drug use from the start of the book to the point where Althea meets him again, I find that one of the biggest. I guess you could argue it's not a plot twist because it's like a slow thing that comes on. But I feel like for Robin Hobb's characters, that level of like substance abuse is a big twist. It's a big difference in his character. And for me, it's one of those things where like I think if Althea was more introspective, she might actually have taken a moment to sort of sit back and go like, oh, well, how much of this was designed by me? Like how much of what is happening to Brashen right now is my fault? And there's a lot of plot twists in this book that are direct actions from other characters impacting on other people's storylines. Hob loves the leading man with addictions. It's definitely, I didn't want to bring it up in any of the initial trilogy because it is, but it is hello? A cat just meowed at me like very strongly. Hello? Baby! 1 second, I need to go and see if he's stuck and Sorry, McNabb, one of our cats has been at the vet, and he's a little bit sad for himself. And I think Harry was outside with the dogs, and he was just sitting in the hallway, just like crying at the top of his lungs for somebody to come pick him up. And I was like, anyway, yeah. So like addiction is definitely a through line in this series in a lot of different ways. Alcohol, substances, power in some ways, I think. The skill for some people is an addiction. Brash and hurt my heart because I have several of these men in my family. Thankfully, they're all sober. That's wonderful. But seeing that spiral made me want to root for him even more. He not had the addiction. It's one of the things that I love the most about Brash, and I think actually is like how, again, I suppose it's the same things that I love about Birch. Is just like he's quite gruff. He's quite wizened by life, but he is trying. He's trying really hard, but he's failing, and he's propping himself up with this really, really terrible habit. Yeah, McNabb's opinions would probably be like, why not more fish? Why pirate book on the ocean, but not more fish? Yeah, sad to go save the cat. Never been a fan of drug abuse storyline, which is probably why I like Brash and less as it went on. That is interesting. I do feel like the substance abuse thing, for a lot of people is just like boring. It's not even problematic. It's just kind of like, I am bored. Like I don't want to read about you getting high. It was the reason that I DNF'd the Final Strife actually, was because the entire first half of the book is literally just character is sad, character buys drugs, character does drugs, character is sad because drugs have run out, character needs to do something to get more drugs. And it was just an endless procession of this, and it never got any better, and it never went anywhere. And I was just like, I am over it. I'm over it. Yeah, McNabb especially. He's really sad. He's really, really sad right now. I will more on that on Discord later because I don't want to share gross things on live sprints. But yeah, he's not a happy boy. I love how podcasts because they never feel jarring. They're just so naturally done. Yes, Bex. And it just feels like, that's why I was like, I've got a list of things in this book where I was like, but looking through them, it feels just like a list of events in some ways. It's just like Robin Hobb's books feel so slice of life in a way that I can't really put my finger on. Winter running away and then being caught and made a slave to the ship was a shocker. The actual permanent marking of Wintrow's face for me was the shocker, because up until that point, all of the things that led to that point, I was like, okay, fair enough, like, yeah. But actually allowing his face to be like permanently marked, not like a tattoo anywhere else where you could have removed it or whatever, but his actual face to be permanently marked somehow is like quite shocking in this one, because he is so like unsullied and perfect, and he wants to be like the religious perfection and stuff, which actually I think is an interesting through line to the way that Robin Hobb discusses physical difference in this series, because of course we do have her name has gone out of my brain. Her name has gone out of my brain. The traders. Their names have gone. You know what I mean? So interestingly enough, Harry is on Sarah and I's train with this one. He didn't hate this. He likes Mad Ship better, but this whole trilogy could have just gone in the bin for him, really. He could have skipped over it and he would have been fine. I do actually think that that's also the way that he feels about the Rainwilds quartet. I have a feeling that he was very like, I can take it or leave it. One of the things that I know that Harry really particularly hated about this book is the tangle. is the constant like popping back to the Tangle and what are the Tangle doing and what are the prophecies that the Tangle are following, and Vivacia's interacting with the Tangle and stuff. It was really like that really bothered him, and anytime a scene with the Tangle hit, he was just like, like, oh, are we here again? Brashen felt like such a good foil for Althea because he can understand her situation better than any and give such good advice that he himself won't follow. That sounds like any of us who have been to therapy. Like, here is some really good advice that I have, but I won't be doing any of it. Thank you. Like, I won't be doing any of it. So Althea was going to get caught super early on, and then she didn't. Yeah, so when she eventually did, I was shocked. She definitely loves you into a false sense of security with that on. Most definitely. I don't know if it counts as a plot twist, but I didn't expect to see the Rainwild people in here. Yes. So the Rainwild people themselves, and the entire idea of like Wizardwood and like the live wood for me is just, I love it. It's one of the like mechanics of Robin Hobb's world that I love the most. I think it is so cool. But I think it, for me, I particularly love it because you guys know that I love places character. So I love when a place or a building or something like that has almost like a personality of its own. And this was literally that personified, right? It was like literally this object has developed a personality. I like the person Brashen could be. Oh, Beth, that's me. That makes me really sad, especially because I think him and Althea could go on to do good things for each other with big capital F's dotted around everywhere. Yes, but Hobbs Prob's not going to make it that easy. Does she make anything easy for anybody? I don't think so. The same with the Final Strife. Yeah, I really. Becky and I had a big debate about that book. A big debate about that because I do not get why people love it. I think Malta's storyline was the most surprising to me. I want to see where it goes. Yes, I think marrying off this like perfect, like unsullied, very clearly attractive, clearly very like possessed of her own mind person off to the Rainwilds is so interesting. When her family have like been determined that would not happen, and then Malta wants it. It's really interesting. Yeah, really, really interesting. Wintrow getting enslaved in tattoos made me firmly team feed Kyle to the serpents. There is no way back, right? That's one of those things where it's like, you done did a big bad. Like, that's like, you've crossed the line. There is no redeeming you for me. I feel like there was a couple of points in the last trilogy where Regal especially had those moments for me where I was like, oh no, you've gone too far now. Yep, outraged by the whole face marking thing. Yes, it's terrifying that he allowed it to happen, right? Can't wait for the Rainwilds. Yes, she'll like the Rainwilds, but I think that seems to be an unpopular opinion. I like them too. I really like the Rainwilds books. I don't have an issue at all with that. I did not expect Hobb to go that far with Wintrow. Yes, I did not expect Malta to get herself engaged. I love that Malta basically did that herself, though. Like, essentially did that. It did that all herself. Like, engineered that. Hated that twist. Wait, skim Twitch scenes, Beth. Same about the tattoo. It was really difficult to read. It was such a harsh thing. Yeah. Oh, the Tangle. Mm-hmm. I love the Tangle. They were super mysterious. And reading back my review, I had lots and lots of theories about them. That's really interesting, Liz. I think, for me, so this is maybe a controversial fantasy opinion, but for me, I swing one of two ways when it comes to like dragons and serpents and unicorns and all this kind of stuff. And one of them is Night Eyes. One of them is the side of Night Eyes where it's like, your point of view makes total sense to me. The way that you speak makes total sense to me. I'm really interested in how you think about things. It makes a lot of sense. I like that you have a point of view. And then the Tangle, where it's just like, oh, stop. I don't want to read about the fish. I don't care what the fish think. I don't care what the fish think. And I think that's my issue. For me, It's like when dragons talk. Sometimes it's done really, really well. Naomi Novik, 10 Rare series. Sometimes it's done really, really badly, and I'm just like, why? And maybe that Winter didn't actually manage to escape, or try to see how it goes for him outside of the ship, but he was too unfortunate. Do you know what, though, Marina? I feel like that sums up Winter for me. He was too unfortunate. Too many things happened to Winter that I was just like, okay, whatever. Please expand. Please expand. Not only a big bad, but one that everyone has to see on the daily. There's no sweeping that under the carpet. Yes. I adore that storyline and all that in the box. It was the box, though. The entire scene where they realise that this has happened, that the gift has been made, and there's no going back in it. There is no way out of it politically. There's no salvage. Was such like a what are you gonna do moment. Like Malta in the box is just like that's it there. That's one of like our like when we go back and look at like our live shows and stuff like that, just like Malta in the box is its own line. Yes, I'm excited for the Tangle stuff on a reread. Yeah, I guess I can understand that, but this is my like third or fourth reread of this book, and I still hate it. Yes, Night Eyes enhances the plot. The Tangle is just like, why? First read's a bit dull. Yes, I don't care what the fish thinks. Yep. Them being there in the very first bit of the book too. Yeah, it did. Oh my god. I struggle at the start of books anyway sometimes. Like, I often find myself rereading the first sort of 6 or so pages of a book a couple of times to get myself like rooted in the story and to get myself more like firmly like established. I struggle with that. And having that right at the start of the book was just like, man, I am checked out. I am out. Whatever the Tangle talk, I feel like I'm spinning. The narration made it. I can't remember what the narration was like for the Tangle. Was it awful? Oh my god. Yeah, Malta made that bed and I can't wait for that fallout so much so. Right, okay. Every time the servants came in, I tuned out. Yes. Malta's bloody box and her green lies. Kathy's like, no, none of your crap. Right, so I want to know, probably my last question, actually. I want to know what theories you guys have, and obviously we need to be careful here for people who've read like further on Sarah, but I want to know what theories that you guys have based on some of the events in this book for future books, and also for like future sort of Realm of the Elderlings plots, because there's a lot in here. There's Amber, right? There's the things that the Tangle are saying. There's bits of Vivacia. There's little hints of Paragon. Like, I would like to know what you guys, if you guys have any theories, or if there are any things that you think that you have made assumptions on just based on this book. I hate that I can't particularly participate in this part, because obviously I know all the things. But I know, for example, that when Sarah was reading this book, she was sending me her theories as she went, and I was like, yeah, keep going. Yes, I'm gonna drop my card. Yes, do it. I'll be reading it along with you, Beth. I'm picking up Mad Ship today. I've pledged to read like a good chunk of it every week, so I'll be with you. I'm not harassing you hard enough. Yes. Never think about these. I'm just letting hopefully Penny whatever despair she wants. I love that. I think for sure we'll see Paragon sail. I feel like the beaching of Paragon is one of the saddest things that Robin Hobb has ever done. Like, genuinely, one of the saddest things that she has ever done is beaching Paragon and letting him rot. Like, it's horrible. Spoiled myself about Amber by... I will say that is definitely something that you need to be, like, so he turned the TV on and it was too loud, and I knew he wouldn't hear if I shouted him, so I'm like banging on the roof like a old like wizened woman who's got noisy downstairs neighbours. Anyway, yes, I think you need to be so careful from Madship onwards about looking up any spoilers. I will say that, guys. Like, I looked up mid Tawny Man. I looked for fan art of a particular moment, and I spoiled myself for the end of book 2, maybe book 2. Be so careful. Be so careful Googling anything. Oh, Stephanie's like, I know shit. I know shit. Obviously saying nothing but looking for, but in this book, there are so many intricate theories that you can start to piece together, though. And I feel like because we're reading them back to back and back, there's all these little links that I'm making now that I haven't made on previous reads. Yeah, that's fair, Beth. You've had a lot going on, man. I think live ships can let others run them, and it's not just about being bloodbound. Oh, that is an interesting theory. So so in that theory, then the being bloodbound is just like an incidental thing that wakes them up. It's not necessarily like a oh, that's interesting. Cannot comment, but I like that theory. I'm also not sure who the mad ship would now be. Are we talking about Paragon going back to sea or Vivacia going mad? I love the title of the second book. I genuinely, absolutely love the title of the second book, because I think there's also a lot of there's a lot of stuff that Robin Hobb does with mental health in general in these books, and like depression and things like that. But I think one of the most interesting things that she does is with Paragon and Vivacia, and obviously I can't tell you guys, like, but I think it's so interesting the way that she plays with your perceptions and everybody else's. I'm guessing this is set in the same time period as the first period. No, I think it's pretty much, I'm pretty sure that this happens right immediately after. Hold on, let me see if I can Google like a timeline again. I had a timeline and I put it in a folder and I don't know where I've put it. Let's see. Yeah, so most opinions are that the live ship traders take place like 2 or 3 years after, because of course some of the events at sea and stuff, and how that affected trade and whatnot, with like the red ship trading and stuff, has all been resolved by the time that we go into live ship traders. So like 2 to 3 years, and then the 20 man is like many years afterwards. My boy Paragon, my baby Paragon is getting his ceiling back on for sure. It's happening after the events the first year, but not too long. Yep. Yes, because Tawny Man is 15. Well done. It's 15 years after Assassin's Quest. Everything Robin Hobb did to the live ships hurts me. Beaching Paragon, letting Wintro inflict religious trauma on Vivacia. Thank you. Because I really do feel like Wintro's like dedication to his religion, like his unswerving, this is the way that it has to be and this is the way that it will be, is the reason that Vivacia is so screwed up by this point. Like, really. I don't think the tango said, because I guess having out during this. That's fair. Yeah, don't look up any fan art ever. And don't read the back of the... Oh, Eleanor, yes. So very this. Don't read the back of any of the future books. Oh my god, no. I had a guess about Amber. I need to remind myself of her hair color. I got my guess confirmed and spoiled. Yes. Oh my god. It's so upsetting, right? It's so upsetting. There's no spoiler-free places on the internet for this. I feel like it's weird because I feel like nobody gets spoiled really for this series until they start it, but then lots of people get spoiled during it because they're like, wait, and they look stuff up that's like this, Tiff, where it's just like totally innocuous stuff, and then you're suddenly like, oh, thanks for that. Discussion for Madship be at the end of October or early November. It will not be pushed back. It will be so it won't be, hold on one second. I have a feeling that it will probably be ooh, that's an interesting one. I wanted it to be at the very end of October, but I am doing, I'll come back to you on that one. It may be mid-November, only on account of the fact that I'm away for one of the very early weeks in November, or it might be on a Wednesday. It might be Wednesday the 30th of October. Just we will see. I need to also check when my Patreon live streams are so that there's no conflict. I will come back to you, Elias, but I will let you know much earlier than this one was. If purposely not read ahead, yes. Malta becomes a power through marriage. Yep, Amber's purpose is more nefarious than she appears. Paragon leaves the madness behind. Kenneth dies because they're like, anyway, all those are very, very interesting theories. So interesting. That's just right in the back of the books and series. So yeah, like obscenely full of spoilers, right? Such a good point. Reeve, which is the Madship. Hadn't even thought of that. Now I'm spiraling. Like everybody's just rushing to pick up Madship. Does everybody have Madship ready to go? Or has it, like, curiously, like, has anybody decided to tap out at this point? I don't feel like any of us have. It feels like everybody who's like actively chatting has decided that like they're going, that we're in this for the long haul. But I did wonder whether Ship of Magic would like set, I was going to say would like set some people off course, but is that too like on the nose? Like I think Vivacia will go mad. You know, Althea, I don't think Althea will ever get Vivacia back either. Do we want Althea to get Vivacia back? How do we feel about that? Another prediction is that the serpents are dragons that fell into the sea. I like that. Fell into the sea. Just like, whoopsies. I like the way that you put that. Just like, oh no, now I live underwater. I think it's about 7 years after Assassin's Quest. It's at least 3 years in advance because some of the timeline wouldn't work. Wouldn't work otherwise. That's the word I was looking for. I think Althea will get Paragon. Agree that she won't get Vivacia back. Okay. It's just after the third book they mention the dragonflight in passing from book 3. Yep. My problem with Madship is that the title is technically the Madship. Like, why is it the? They are not for these. This is a lot of fun for me. I'm enjoying myself. Winter was one of my least favorite characters, just so much so in so many different ways. This is why I have to go back to binge read and listen. Yeah, that's totally realistic. I think there's a good chance that after I finish Madship, I will also start ending up being a little bit ahead of our read along. I won't go too far because I want the books to be fresh for these live shows, but I think that there's a good chance that I will read a little bit ahead because at the end of Madship, I'll be very surprised if some of you guys don't get to the end of Madship and immediately go, no, now. Like, next one now. I have Madship for Spookopoly. Yep. I'm here to the end of the line. I love this. Waiting for this chat to start the next one because I didn't want to inadvertently or mix or spoil future events. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm not reading on. But I think I'm going to find it really difficult by the end of Madship because there's a thing. Althea does not need Vivacia, nor I feel genuinely does Vivacia need Althea. I think they would have been a horrible match for each other at the start of this book when she was supposed to get her. I think the beginning of this book would have been awful. If Madship ready to go for Spookopoly, very good. I love this. I love that everybody's in it with the long haul. A bottle of, Georgia, that's commitment. Like, I have made a shelf of these books and I will read them all, no matter what happens. Started Madship this morning. I feel like there's an early reveal that I hadn't guessed. Oh, Jenny, I need to know. I mean, I know you can't tell us, but I need to know. to know. So much I want to read in October, but now the want to pick up Mad Ship is killing me. I always get like that right after these live shows. I'm like, no, but I need to read now. I need to read right now. Yep, I'm invested in these now. I'm stuck here, invested in the goss here in the Home of Opinions. It's very much exactly what it is. Getting well fed night. I haven't even had dinner. Oh, Vivacious on her own journey now. She may not want Althea back. That's a very good point. There's a lot of assumptions in here about like what the live ships do want and what they should want and what they should end up with. Excited to continue. I think it's definitely the groundwork for yes. I will say that there's a deep satisfaction at the end of this trilogy. It's so its own little thing. It's so its own contained thing. There's a deep satisfaction with finishing this trilogy. I got the mid-read square for Spookopoly and a 5-star prediction square. You're sorted. You are sorted. I will say right now, as we speak, I am making in fact, I'll do it right now. I will do it right now. Give me 1 second. I am going to make my October TBR available for you so that you guys can watch this right after you hold on. You can watch this right after you're finished here. 1 second. Let me just set this to live because I was done dirty. I was done extremely dirty by Spookopoly on the first roll that I did. After that, not awful, but the first one, mean. Just mean. Just unnecessarily mean. Right, it is now public. You guys can watch this when we're finished. The first roll was awful. Becca's response was essentially like, haha, I'm glad that happened to you. Which I think is just like, it's not fair. Spookopoly's never ever nice to me. Right, there we go. That's us sorted. I'm back now. I'm back. I'll hate read these if I have to. She doesn't deserve Vivacia. I agree. Missed a chunk because Rob selfishly came home and expected me to actually. Rob, don't you know that Beth is ours when we're live? That's disgusting. I love that you guys are just like you're locked in. I think Althea has potential to have a really good growth character arc. I think all of Robin Hood's characters have the potential of that. I'm reading all of them. All of these things. I've forgotten which trilogy it is, but one of them's All Glory is the last trilogy. Yep, and gorgeous, and everyone comments on it. Yep. It's these ones, the ones at the end. I'm also really sad because there's no room just above these books. Like the gap between the books and the top of this shelf is too narrow to fit this book on, which is Becca met Robin Hobb at Comic-Con and got me Assassin's Apprentice signed, and it's a lovely like floppy American copy of it, and I couldn't fit it on the shelf. I had to put it on the one underneath, and I was like, it's not okay. I actually couldn't stop months ago and finish it. Oh my god, Tiff! Now I want to reread Magic. I mean, you could just reread the whole thing with us. Just carry back on with us. I'm becoming more tempted to reread. I think you should. They're well worth a reread. And for the long haul, love Robin Hobb's writing. Yes, probably my favourite newly found author. Yeah, definitely one of my favourites of all time. Up there with Pratchett for me. Oh, it's your sneak preview earlier and did my rolls immediately after. The board was very kind to me. I will probably roll more later on in the month. And also for those of you who did not notice it and did not catch me going live by accident on the Spookopoly sprints this morning, I have public Spookopoly sprints which are starting at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow and will be going to like afternoon time. So if you have enjoyed hanging out, I will be there. No spoilers, but the reveal has been mentioned in here. Okay. Spookopoly was kind to me. I was shocked and Mad Ship is part of it. I get the lowest rated on Spook. That's just wrong, Chloe. That's just wrong. Rolling as I go for Spookawfully, and of course I rolled double straight away. That's the only thing that it didn't do to me this time. And you know what? I think it's because I capped it. I went in saying I will roll 3 times, and if I get 3 doubles, my limit is 6 books, and I only got 3. And anytime I have not limited it beforehand, every second roll's been doubles. Right, seriously, yes. Finish the whole series, I'll just turn around and start them back over again. That's how I feel about coming to the end of Discworld. We've only got a couple of books left for our Around the Disc in 800 Days, and I'm already mourning the fact that I don't have a Pratchett in my life right now, so I think I am just going to turn right back around and start at the start again. This time I'll just not read the ones I don't like in the middle. I joined the other reread when they were 80% in and still finished it first. I couldn't stop. Seriously, they're so addictive. They're so huge, but it takes so little time because you're just invested. I debated a late join of Spookopoly and you guys are swaying me. I think you should. I think you should. I mean, you can roll as you go. Just roll as you go. It'll be fine. Team meeting finishes at 10 a.m. Yes, Beth. We'll get so much done tomorrow. You're truly giving out your angel or your devil. I feel like I'm almost always the devil. Almost always. Wish I could join you for Spit. This is middle of the night. Oh no, at least you can watch them back though, Liz. I know, but at least I that is good, Chloe. Right. I think that is a good place to wrap this one up. I will let you guys know in the next sort of like week or so when the live show is going to be. I suspect now, from Elias's question and looking at my calendar, that we might actually be looking at mid-November for the Mad Ship live show. So you guys might actually get another couple of weeks. It is the longest. I feel like it is the longest in the series. So I think that like couple of extra weeks will be pretty useful. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. I am loving these live shows. They are giving me absolute life. The discussions that we get to have, like they just make the reading experience so much better. So Godspeed with all of you who are taking on Spookopoly. Again, I'll see you tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. British summertime. We're still summertime, right? I'll see you at 10:30 tomorrow if you would like to read some of Mad Ship with me, because I'll definitely be reading that then. And also Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. But yeah, so have a lovely night or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye.